When you think of fonts, you would figure it would be very hard to come up with a new one. But a Twin Cities graphic designer, a graduate of UW-Stout, won multiple awards for one that she created.
Yeah, but it was the story she uncovered along the way that became a bigger passion, and it's now become a book. Fox 9's Rob Olson has the story.
The story of a Twin Cities woman creating a new font began nearly 16 years ago here in downtown Stillwater. She found some old letters written in French. She created her font, and what was in those letters created an entire book.
I was just out enjoying the day, looking to see what was in the stores.
In a Stillwater antique store that no longer exists.
This fantastic blend of restraint and flourish. I really love that letter M.
Carolyn Porter found a stack of handwritten letters that had been nearly lost to history themselves.
January 1943 to April 1944.
As a graphic designer, she'd been looking for a handwritten script to help develop a new font. And she worked on that from these letters written in French, eventually out of curiosity having them translated, to a huge surprise.
That these letters had been mailed from a labor camp in Berlin to the man's wife and daughters who were in France.
How long did you have the letters before you discovered that?
9 years.
The letters were written by a man named Marcel from a forced labor camp in Berlin during World War II, where he helped build Panther tanks in the Daimler factory.
And as I had each letter translated, I had to know more. I had to know more about him. I had to know what happened. And I had to know if he returned home.
She kept working on the font and finished it in 2014, named it Marcel, and it won multiple awards. But the entire time,
could I finish the font not knowing what happened to him?
She wrote the book called Marcel's Letters, published this past summer, telling her story about tracking down his.
I wrote the book because I wanted Marcel's story to be known, not just the font.
How creating a font unearthed a whole other life.
You did find out what happened to him.
I did, yeah.
You've been in contact with his family.
Right.
And all that's in the book.
All that's in the book, yeah.
Now, another question is, how did those letters wind up in an antique store in Stillwater, Minnesota? Well, she found the answer to that, too. Made me promise not to spoil it because, yes, that's also in the book. Rob Olson, Fox 9.
What a meaningful project that is.
Yeah, and
I will
it starts
use that
with
font.
just that. It's beautiful, I know that.